And we're live on the YouTubes directly today. So I've now entered at least the beginning position of the oil trade, my famous / infamous oil trade, which usually, let me see, did I save this? Actually, I can get rid of this. We're not going to talk too much about mortgage today. I will talk about rates for a second. We'll look at mortgage bonds here in a minute. Derrick Evans here, VA Home Loan Specialist, NMLS 155010. You can always call, text me if you want to buy, refi. Email works too. My oil trade, which I've waited to share with the world forever and have been doing for almost 15 years now, is really, really simple. So let me just show you. This is the kind of stuff that you see. Let me see. Just block that person there. When you see people posting about or talking about when it's in the news that gas prices are really high, that's usually the time that you'd want to sell. You want to buy when people are talking about how low gas prices are. And this is the simplest concept ever for a trade, but it's worked out so well. I've never played it short, though. I've never actually shorted. I've just been longing it and then waiting to long it and then selling it and then waiting to long it. And so this time we're actually going to take a short position, and that has begun today. I didn't expect that. I really thought this would take a little while. And then over the weekend, things got a little crazy. And oil actually spiked up to $130. Now, the highest we've seen it in many decades is $140. So you can see kind of the risk reward here to playing the game higher. Could oil prices go higher? Yeah, we could set a new all-time record here. I mean, we could see oil prices go to something crazy. I mean, they could get to $180, $200, who knows? But here's what I do know. And this is why I feel confident, even though I didn't expect to be entered in. I'm going to show you what I'm trading on this here in a second. The reason why I'm confident in it is that this is an election year. It's a very important election year. The president knows his party is going to get beat up pretty badly in November, and they're trying to figure out any which way they possibly can to stop that bleeding. Now, the other good news on this trade is that the president, should he want to, with one pen stroke, I mean, literally one piece of paper, could fire up the Keystone Pipeline and cause oil to go back to $40 to $50. Just that easy. Just boom, snap the fingers. He decides to pull the trigger, and boom, we're going to make a ton on our short. So not only is there's a lot of motivation from people who are in power to get this under control. It's going to take some time, though. They're not going to be able to do it immediately, which is why I bought puts that are good through October. But I'm going to show you how that's setting up in a second. I do expect this to get solved. It may take months, though. So just keep that in mind. You don't need to FOMO in. I very well, if this continues to go higher, very well may continue to build a position here against oil. This is right at the time. Oh, what was interesting here? Let me see if this is still on here. That showed that today Carl Icahn finished his exit in his petroleum stake in Occidental. Let's see if that's still on here somewhere. I should have saved it. It's amazing how much they blast through these things. Yeah, it's not on here. So anyway, but Carl Icahn completely exited, finished exiting his position Occidental Petroleum. He made over $1 billion on the oil trade. Look, he's selling right now when it's liquid and high. And so that's what I'm doing too. Now, we saw the spike to 130 overnight. It lost some of that luster, but I do, like I said, expect it to get to probably 140, maybe higher. So let's take a look at this. All right, we're just going to quick gander at gold, which hit $2,000. Congratulations to all the gold people. It's working. The gold is working. We've gone from 1,800 to 2,000. You made a little money finally. Congrats to you. Fine. I'm just glad to see it not be 1,800 anymore. Bitcoin struggling, crypto struggling in this environment. Really unprecedented time for cryptos. We've never seen, cryptos in a bear market, in a wartime scenario. We've seen bear markets in cryptos before, but we've never seen sort of a wartime scenario, hyperinflationary situation, which should be good. I mean, hyperinflation should be good for Bitcoin. If people understood what Bitcoin was, it would be skyrocketing right now. But let's stay focused on oil here. So what we're expecting, we're looking at oil, expecting it to spike, expecting that to get relaxed at some point between now and the end of the year. I'm going to play this one in kind of a different way. A lot of people would say this is an ultra risky thing to do, and I would agree that that's the case. So This isn't financial advice. I don't think you should do this. I'm just going to tell you what I am doing, what I have done, and what I will be doing. I bought calls on this. Now, this is an ultra short crude oil ETN. So this thing here is basically it's 2x short oil. So if oil goes up 10%, this thing will be down 20%. That's kind of how it's supposed to work. If oil goes up, if oil goes down 10%, this thing's supposed to be up 20%. That's how it's supposed to work. We'll see. These things don't always track that way. That's why it's called ultra short. It means it's more than just short. And so it should track. Now, if you look at the long term on any of these leveraged or 2x or 3x ETFs, you're going to see that over time, they just go down. These are not things you want to hold for long periods of time. What's nice about the options chain here is that I can put a fixed amount of money into it. And if oil does peel back, let's say Biden does hand stroke the Keystone Pipeline right before elections, which would be the smartest thing he could do for so many reasons. Let's say he does do that. Oil goes back to 40 bucks. This thing should skyrocket, right? So I want to take my best ability to make money on this while just having a fixed amount risked. And that's why I went ahead and purchased some puts. Puts are options against oil. I bought calls on this. I bought calls because this is an ultra short. So I have calls on this, which are about the longest standing ones I could. So it's October 21st, 2022. I bought the $7 calls. Oh, wow. They last traded 130. Nice. I got them for less than that. So even though oil's up today, these calls here have increased in price. So I got these for 125. It looks like they last transacted at 130. And what that means is that I'm expecting this security to get to $7. It's at 541. Expecting it to get to $7 or more. I've got it for $1. So really, or $1.25. So really need it to get to 8.25 before expiration. But what can happen is if oil starts to tank, you can see people pile into these things and they'll be totally irrational. The future premium, the time value premium could be, insane. Anytime I put in an option play like this, I'm always looking to, and by the way, I'm not like a professional trader or anything. It's just simply telling you what I'm doing here based on the stuff that I think is obvious. And there's times where there's money on the table and it's just hard not to pick it up. That's really that's all this is. Good question, Slim Dog. Gold greater than crypto. People have been debating this for a long time. I mean, put it this way. When you say crypto, do you mean Bitcoin? Because crypto is, sort of a technology bubble, similar to .com in my opinion. The Bitcoin, though, is a totally different story. Bitcoin is a decentralized financial network that's peer-to-peer with set monetary policy, which is deflationary, programmed deflation, essentially. Gold is a yellow rock. So, I mean, if you think about innovation, gold is something that has been used as a payment mechanism or value mechanism since the Stone Age. I mean, we were due for financial revolution. We were due for financial innovation. And Bitcoin is really that. And then the crypto, all the other cryptos, all the altcoins are really just sort of riding that wave. So that's my 2 cents on that. But let me make this a little bit bigger here. Let's see if we can increase the size of this. You can see a little bit better. Yeah. So here's what I've got. I've got these $7 strike options at 125. So what we're hoping is that, this thing maybe could get up into the teens or something like that if oil craters, Biden does the pen stroke Keystone XL or does something else. Even if he doesn't even do anything, even if Biden just says something, even if they just say they're going to do something, that could cause oil to drop and then could cause these things to move. So anytime I'm in one of these option scenarios, I'm always looking to try to get my cost basis out. So I like to look for opportunities for a double and take half of my contracts off the table. That's what I would be doing in this situation. I've got that sell order already in. And some people say, well, that's dumb. Why would you do that? Well, because there's times when, you're going to get that kind of volatility, even though there won't be a movement. I don't stare at my screens all day, every day. So I don't want to miss out on the opportunity to get my cost basis out of here and have, a trade that can just run for forever or until October anyway, to make money. I don't want to miss out on that. And it's nice to reload the account with your cost basis, so then you have more opportunities to take chances like this. That's what options are. Options are taking a chance. This is a speculative deal. I'm only putting a few $1,000s into it. It's not like I'm putting a ton of money in there, but I will add to it. If oil continues to rise, if we see oil do something crazy, get to 160, 170, if it starts to if it gets really above 140, anywhere there, I will be adding on to that. And it could go crazy. I mean, if we continue to be complete nincompoops as a country as far as how we're handling the oil situation, it could get to $200. I know no one's calling for that yet, but it could get there. It could get there quick. You got to remember, there's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of reasons why oil is expensive. It's not just what's happening in Ukraine and Russia. We've seen oil going up since this administration took office, and we've made money on that. And I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. You have to be okay with it. And so that's what's going on there. We'll take a quick look here. Bitcoin is not looking great. It's been in the worst positions, but it's not looking great. Still above this super important long-term support line down here. This trend, this value range here is very, very good. Buying opportunity potentially here. And it looks like if we go to, let's go to the daily, we're kind of in no man's land there, which means there's some potential downside. And you hate to see that, because you really want to see a nice setup for a long like we had right here. You're not really seeing that yet. Not really seeing that. So even though the fear and greed index is really fearful at the moment, just not seeing what you really want to see. Now, a bunch of people who do TA on Bitcoin over the weekend were looking at this weekly inverted hammer here, which at the bottom of ranges usually means a reversal is impending. Although it may not be immediate, this usually what this reverse or this inverse hammer means, especially when it's green at the bottom of a downtrend. That's sort of, you have to say, if you look at the weekly, that there's a downtrend here that has leveled off. This is leveling off right here, even though it's a little, this is leveled off. And so we're at the bottom of a downtrend. We've got an inverted hammer. That should signal, a reversal, but we don't know. So we'll have to see what happens there. Mortgage rates, I'm optimistic, at this point. I hope that we see things turn around here for bonds, but they're so worth it. Would you buy a bond? I wouldn't buy a bond. Who would want to own a bond right here? We have an inflation number that's going to print this week that should be off the charts. You're getting 2-something% for your bonds. Maybe it sounds better than a savings account, but you also have risk. I don't know. But as of the moment, we at least have, we have some kind of an uptrend in place here. Remember, we want mortgage bonds to go higher because that means mortgage rates are going to go lower. Not good for bond investors necessarily, unless they're just trying to trade for principal purposes, but we were in this range here. That was fine. We're okay with that. It looks like we're trying to kind of establish a new range here, and that'd be cool too, to just kind of level up a little bit there. But there's going to be a lot of pressure on these bonds probably this week, probably when the inflation data prints. So I'm just telling everybody right now, lock. As soon as you have the opportunity, lock, at least hedge a lock. If you can't lock for some reason, try to hedge your lock. Okay, give me a call if you've gotten an offer, or if you've already locked in, you want to see if you can improve on your deal. Call, text me, email me. That's what I'm here for. Happy to help. Don't charge any fees or any points. We have great rates from lots of banks. So there may be an opportunity to get a better deal, potentially. If we see this rally continue, maybe we bounce off of this and head higher here. It's possible. It's possible with the things happening. Over in Ukraine, it sort of feels like there's obviously a lot of capital rushing out of equities. You can see here, look at this. Look at today. Down 800 points in the Dow, huge down day for the NASDAQ. I'm also, full disclosure, I'm short the NASDAQ. I'm short the 3 Qs anyway, with puts. And that has already doubled. Got my cost basis out of that, and I have a runner there. So we'll see how that one ends up as well, but I feel good about it. And that's really just portfolio protection. When we get to these extremely overbought, extremely overvalued scenarios, portfolio protection, options can be a really good idea there. So to get back to that briefly, to wrap this up, a lot of people were asking me about this, so I just wanted to make a quick video on it. The $7, right? So if what if this goes to 15? What do I have? Well, I've got at $1, my $1, $7 strikes are going to be worth, if it gets to 15, fair value. If it gets to 15, they're worth $8, right? So my $1 turns into $8. So I get an 8x. That's just fair market value. But if we start heading in that direction, if this thing starts moving and oil starts dropping and this thing starts moving higher, the premiums will get there quickly. There'll be a chance to make really, really good money on this particular situation. Also, it could go to zero. If this doesn't get solved, this oil issue doesn't get solved by October, which would be shocking to me. It'd be shocking to me if the administration, with so many tools at their fingertips, with so many ways to fix this problem quickly too, for them not to take any of those options, given that it's an election year, that would be shocking to me. And that's why I feel safe about this bet. So good luck to us all with our investments, with our trades, with our home loan options and refinance possibilities. I just want everyone to know that right now things are a little crazy, and the best thing you can do is keep a level head. Look for opportunities. Look for opportunities. Just be aware that there are always going to be opportunities. There's always going to be a way to position yourself better based on what's happening in the world. Although we won't know what's going to happen next, we can brace for it. Like, for example, I would be really, really nervous if I was super long equities. In other words, I had a bunch of mutual funds or something like that, and I had no portfolio protection. In other words, I have nothing that helps me if stocks go down. The old days, people said have 10% of your portfolio in gold, and I used to abide by that. And right now, if you've done that, then your gold has been going up, and that helps supplement what's going on with your stocks. But there are other ways to do it that are more direct. You never know. Gold may not go up as much as your portfolio goes down. There's ways that you can play. You can use options to have an insurance policy against the market taking a big dive. And then if the market takes a big dive, you can hold on to your investments, take the profit from your hedge, and use that as a way to say, hey, I can now buy more here on the low, and use that money to actually decrease your cost basis and increase your overall investments. And that's really what I think is the smart thing to do here at the moment. But we'll see. We're going to see what happens. This is going to be a very interesting week. Get ready for fireworks. I mean, hey, I am ready to go. I'm locked and loaded, ready for both this, ready for this, and ready for this. Damn! Maybe we get a good number. Can we talk about that for a second? Let's talk about that for a split second. Let's say we get a good inflation number this week, and it's less than expected. That would probably send the markets flying higher, everything. Why? Because the expectation right now is pretty bad. The expectation is that inflation is going to be terrible for a long time to come. No one can really do anything about it because that's sort of reality. So if they print the number, even if the number is totally false, but is used as a psyop, even if that's the case, it could send markets scaling higher because the expectation would then be that the Fed is going to ease or continue easing or not tighten as much. And pretty much now, stocks are traded with the Fed. Can you imagine that? The Fed, a group of people who were not elected, who control the money and control the policy of the money. They're dictating everything. Isn't that crazy? That's what's going on. So choose wisely, my friend. Slim Dog, thank you for your live comment. That was a good one. Is gold greater than crypto? Well, I don't know. Gold is just a yellow rock as far as I know. But hey, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Good luck to everyone out there. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon.